The Vulnerable Hero podcast begins now. Hello, my brothers and sisters, and welcome to another episode of The Vulnerable Hero, where I define vulnerability as having the courage to experience love in its purest form. My name's Mack, and I am your host of this podcast, and I'm really excited to talk with you today. I have gotten a lot of feedback recently about men and vulnerability. One thing I know deeply, is that society will heal when we, collectively, as individuals, take our masks off and together heal from pain and shame. And quite frankly, I don't even want to use some of these words. They seem like buzzwords. And even though I'm redefining these words or taking back their meaning, I want to be very clear. If you're worried about what people think about you, you're trapped by a lack of vulnerability. If you are constantly comparing yourself with another person and what they're doing, you are trapped by a lack of vulnerability. If you are concerned about the clothes you wear, car you drive, house you live in, what school your kids go to, what your image is, then you are trapped by a lack of vulnerability. And my question is, how long are you willing to go without being free? And what is your freedom worth to you? What is your freedom worth to your family, to the legacy that you're going to leave on this earth? I think a lot of people's gravestones will read, "They thought only about themselves." The end. They thought only about how they looked. The end. And that is tragic. And that is a travesty for this age and day that we live in. Because there are so many hurting people, and there are so many who are crying out silently for help, silently for healing, silently for hope. I love the Joe Rogan podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience. It's my favorite podcast. And Joe has talked on a few episodes, one of the recent ones I listened to, just about the homeless population exploding in Los Angeles and San Francisco and here in Seattle where I live. It's exploding. And think about the feces and the excrement and all the disease and sickness that is taking place just on the earth in these areas. And that is all systemic from a deep wound. Humanity has a deep wound right now. Men and women are wounded. And instead of seeking help, for whatever reason, people are retreating to anything that will make them feel better. Be that addictive drugs, be that media, be that materialism, be that money or career or whatever it is, sports. All these things are one form replaced with another to numb the gnawing sense that something deep down is not working. Something deep down is not right. Something deep down hurts. And when will we wake up as a society and say, I don't care anymore. I don't give a shit what someone thinks about me. I'm going to stand for, first and foremost, myself. I have to heal myself. And secondly, I will stand for another's healing. So we don't judge people. So we don't, and not only not judge people, this flashed into my mind. so you can be trustworthy. Are you trustworthy? Are you trustworthy? I often think about the movie Saving Private Ryan and Opum, who wanted to save, he was the communications guy that even though they wore the same uniform, he joined the band with Ed Helms or Ed, whatever, the actors, Tom Cruise, that were going to save Private Ryan. He joined up late. And even though he wore the same uniform, he wasn't part of that cultural fabric of that small squadron. And for my military brothers out there, sorry to not get these terms correctly, but you understand what I'm talking about. And so they go out seeking Private Ryan, and they come across these Nazis, and instead of taking the Nazi out, Opum pleads for mercy for the Nazi, and they decide to let him go. And then towards the end of the movie, they re-encounter that Nazi, or a group of Nazis, and that Nazi was fighting one of the Jewish troops up in the balcony or attic of this home, and Opum was too afraid to go up there and save his friend's life. Think of that. I often think just because they wore the same uniform didn't mean they were on the same team at the end of the day. There's an old quote by Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who was the last person that Hitler ordered executed in a prison camp. And Dietrich Bonhoeffer was part of the resistance. He was part of the bombing attempt to assassinate Adolf Hitler. And Dietrich Bonhoeffer said, not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act. And so Opum, by not speaking and by not acting, actually acted and spoke in accordance with that Nazi killing his friend. That's just what happened. And so are you trustworthy? We have an issue in society right now. We have confusion when it comes to spirituality. We have confusion when it comes to what the future holds for humanity. We have confusion for how to raise children. We have confusion for politics. There's confusion everywhere. Confusion. Not confluence, not coming together from many paths to become one, but confusion to create discord and a lack of clarity on what is the best path forward. And it is time, my brothers and sisters, for us to stop caring what people think about us. And if it looks ugly, the ugly cry, then cry. And if it looks loud and disruptive and you feel like you got to yell and get whatever's out of you, get it out of you. But get it out of you in a healthy way. Get it out of you in a way that doesn't disrupt other people. Here's the deal. If you don't get it out of you in a safe container, it will come out of you in a non-safe container, be that your workplace, your home. I don't know if you're listening, but if one of you has ever broken something in your home, you have created a discord and confusion in your home for children, for your spouse or your partners. This is terrible, to create spaces of unsafe resting abodes for us. We must create safe spaces. We must get rid of the confusion, and we must process the pain that's inside of us. Get ready for the election season. Get ready. Here's the deal. Here's some scenarios. For my liberal friends listening, what if Trump gets reelected? I truly let that sink in, that he might. And will that totally blow you up? Are you so attached to politics, that which you have no control over, to dictate how you feel about your own reality? And for my conservative friends listening, or Republicans, or whatever you call yourself, if you're pro-Trump, do you really have that lack of empathy towards someone who doesn't agree with you? And isn't this political rhetoric just a deception anyway to divide us instead of bringing us together? For who doesn't want to lay their head down at night on a pillow in safety and peace and on a warm bed? That is where we can start. In humanity, collectively, that is where we can start. I believe that every person on planet Earth wants to lay their head down at night in safety. So, if that is where we start, from the rising of the bed to the going back to that bed, what happens during the day? And some of you have a hard time sleeping at night. I did. This is a true story. I was almost married 10 years, and because I had so much pain and trauma, now I wouldn't have called it pain and trauma, but I call it pain and trauma now. So I use these words and you say, well, I don't have pain and trauma. Okay. I didn't think I had pain and trauma until I really looked at it. But regardless, I had not slept through the night without taking something in 8 years. And it wasn't until I hit rock bottom, I finally shared with my wife all the hurt, all the pain, things that I had caused pain in her life, all the trauma, all the angst and anxiety and the fear and the secrets and the worry and the shame and the guilt and the sadness. It wasn't until I got that out of me, audibly shared, cried, grieved, that I was able to sleep through the night. And I have slept through the night ever since. So some of you listening are having a hard time sleeping. Some of you listening are lacking so much peace in your life that you are tormented. You are hunted by your thoughts. You are worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow. You are thinking about what has already passed in your day, that which you have no control over. One of the best books I've ever read is Viktor Frankl's book, The Man's Search for Meaning. He talks about all we have is this present moment and our thoughts and our ability to choose. That is our greatest freedom, is our ability to choose. There's a quote, something like, in between response and stimulus, or stimulus and response, there is a space. And within that space is our freedom to choose. I want to see you become healed, free, authentic, joyful, happy. I want you to live the life that you dream of. And stop looking for other people or comparing yourself with other people that you think may have the answers. You have the answer for your life. I don't have the answer for your life. No one else has the answer for your life. Only you have the answer for your life. And the answer resides deep within you, in your mind, in your thoughts, in your feeling, to close your eyes and go back and think about every painful memory, moment, and action that ever minimized you as a human being. What made you feel small? What made you feel afraid? What made you feel weak? What made you feel confused? What made you disassociate? What made you shudder? What made you do things that you would never in your own volition do yourself? Those are the actions and events that you must go back and face, no matter how ugly and disturbing they may be, because in those spaces, when you look at them and say, those are in the past, they are not me, they are not now, and they did not touch my true authentic self. They affected my body. It certainly played with my mind, but it never touched and pierced my soul. And the mask and the armor and the facade and the veneer that I've been putting and carrying on for so long has become exhausting. And it's time, my brother and sister, that you take it off. You don't have to carry the burden of that pain and shame that someone presented to you in your life any longer. It wasn't yours to carry then. It's not yours to carry now. You can be free. You can live an authentic life. You can humble yourself, open your arms, expose your soul, and receive love. And maybe the question is, what is the love? Are you talking about God? Are you talking about the universe? Are you talking about the air? I am talking about when you do that for yourself. A lot of people call it self-respect. A lot of terms that are used for self-respect are actually self-love. The reason we have a lack of self-love in this world is because we have a lack of vulnerability and having the courage to do for ourselves only that which we can do for ourselves, and that is to liberate our souls. And so when we expose our souls, we will have our own respect for ourselves, and that is loving ourselves. So you will experience love like you've never, ever experienced before when you stand out in authenticity and vulnerability, when you take the walls off, when you take the mask off, when you bring yourself to the present state of being so that you can receive. And secondly, yes, I do believe that the very universal state that we live in, the very universal law that we abide in this existence is based on love. And what I mean by that is, in Hebrew, the word love means ahava. It means to give. So the universe is constantly giving. It's always in a state of creating. It's always in a state of creation. The natural cycle of the earth is to replenish. The natural cycle of the seasons is to replenish. It is constantly replenishing and giving. The universe is expanding faster than the speed of light right now. So if you truly just understand that when you have self-respect and self-love and you've opened yourself up, you also open yourself up to that which is good in nature, and that is love. That's why no matter how dark it is right now for you, have hope. For tomorrow, there is a new morning. Tomorrow, there are new opportunities. Tomorrow is a new day. Today will be gone. Yesterday was no more. So you can have hope that things will get better. You are okay. Whoever's listening, if there's someone suicidal right now, I want you to hear me. I attempted when I was 20 years old. It's a miracle that I'm alive. But I want to tell you, escaping is not the answer. Coming to me or someone you feel safe enough and saying, I need help, be it a therapist, be it a pastor, be it someone, be it a minister, be it a rabbi, be it an imam. I don't care who it is. It's whoever you feel safe enough, who won't judge you, who won't tell you that this is the answer, this is the way, who will just simply listen and show love and compassion to you. That is the only way out. So escaping in your body is not the way out. Having the courage to reach out is the way out. You owe yourself your own life. You owe yourself your own life. Do not take the way out. Go back through all those memories that are causing you to not want to face your own reality. And scream at them, yell at them if you have to. Kick and scream and fight, but fight for your life. Because your life is good and you are beautiful and you are worthy and you matter. And it is time that we heal, that you heal, because there are generations waiting for you to liberate yourself so that they can be liberated. It is time. I want you to hear this podcast. I want you to share this podcast. I want you to download this podcast. Whether you agree or disagree, comment, reach out. It is time that we have a conversation in this society, one that matters. It's not about being inspired. It's not about having a business and making money. It is not about those things. It is about love. It is about hope. It is about compassion. It is about freedom and authenticity. And yes, it is about being vulnerable, but vulnerability not in the meaning of being hurt and exposed to pain. No, vulnerability as having the courage to experience love in its purest form, to be a courageous liberator of souls. First, liberate yourself so that you can liberate others. Whew. Fired up today. I'm fired up for you. I want you to know that. Just get on this podcast and let it rip. I'm doing it for you. I want you to be free. Just know that I'm walking with you. I'm not preaching at you. I'm walking with you. Reach out to me if it resonates with you. If you're looking for coaching, if you're looking for a life coach, reach out to me. I have a few spots. I coach a few people. I don't take a lot of people on because I don't believe in going a mile wide and an inch deep. I believe in going a mile deep, and we'll go inch a little wider, inch a little wider. We're going to go deep so that we can be free. If you're a man and you're looking for something to you want to break out of where you're at, I lead men's retreats. I have 5 spots left. Come, bring a friend, or come alone. Have courage to come alone. You can find the information on my website, lucasmack.com/retreats. Look, no one's going to come save you. Only you can save you. Yet, when you choose to save yourself, you are going to find a community, an army, brotherhood and sisterhood, a family like you've never even dreamt of surrounding you, walking with you. And that's the truth. So my friends, thank you for listening. My name is Lucas Mack. This is the Vulnerable Hero Podcast, where I define vulnerability as having the courage to experience love in its purest form. I'll talk to you on the next episode.